Hello guys to today's Gamers Weekend. So, what can I complain about this time? Well, I'm actually gonna complain about prices of video games, just like you probably already realized from the title. However, until I actually do that, let me just thank you so much for your support on my latest videos, especially the Witcher trailer reaction for the Red Kit. And yeah, I really hope you will like it. Again, thank you so much, and please check out the rest of the videos as well about gaming, maybe about Blender, whatever fits you. I'm pretty sure you'll find something you like, because really, if you liked this video so far, which is like, I don't know, 10 seconds up until this point, you'll probably love the others as well, because it's quality content. I'm like the best content creator YouTube has at this point in time.
Right.
But it just not knows that yet. It will find out at some point, I'm pretty sure of it. But you can actually help me out to make them know that. And yeah, thank you again so much, and please subscribe, like this video if you do like it, and you know, tell other people about this channel, and you know, share this clip, maybe others will like it and will subscribe along with you. So, with this actually being out of the way, I'm going to talk about prices for video games. And mostly I want to center a few subjects, because it's a very complex, you know, problem that I cannot really tackle from all the angles. However, I can talk about a few of them. First, I want to tackle the main question, which is why do video games actually increase their prices? 2. What happens with that money? And 3. Is it actually worth becoming a game developer at this point in time? Well, I will mostly assume the last one, because I'm not a game dev. I want to become one, but I'm not one just yet. The others, I read a lot about it and I heard a lot of stories and news about them, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. So let's actually get into it. Why do video games actually increase their prices? I mean, I don't think it's a big surprise for anyone that video games along the years actually increase their pricing. And yes, you can put a lot of excuses, like inflation is one of them. Money don't have, you know, the same, money doesn't have, you know, the same value anymore, and of course you have to pay with more money for less stuff, because it's just not the same anymore, and that's called inflation. But also there's something else. We cannot actually deny the fact that gaming did start as just a little funny thing here and there, and evolve from that to an absolute piece of art. At this point in time, the gaming industry is actually bigger than the music and the film industry put together, and I think that actually should make a lot of people understand why gaming is such a big deal in today's world.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
Now, for a lot of people, this actually might come as a surprise, but video games, you know, kinda went up in price from $60 to $70. When I'm saying it comes as a surprise, this is not a part that's surprising, because everyone kinda knew this will happen the moment consoles jumped to the new consoles like PS5 and Xbox Series X. But really, why is that? Because to be extremely honest, when PCs make upgrades, it's not like the prices for video games go up, so why does this have to happen?
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
Well, really doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, you basically get the same thing. Yes, you get better graphics, yes, you get less waiting time, and less loading screens if you're not Bethesda anyway. And it's actually quite good. It's actually, you know, really good video games and all that. However, you cannot actually deny that it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, PCs were already doing everything that consoles are doing now, and you did not have to pay more money for that, did you? At the same time, you can also come with, you know, another thing that you can put out, which this one I kind of have to understand, which is games actually evolved a lot. So I'm not just talking graphics, because yes, graphics is super cool, but I'm talking about the requirements. So in today's world, almost every game, especially I'm talking mostly AAA by the way, okay, indies, they are not necessarily like that, and I'm gonna tackle that subject a little bit later on. But for now, we're talking mainly about AAA games and AAA developers, really, because these are the ones that actually changed all this. At the end of the day, really, what happened was the AAA developers are like, look, if you want the new console games, you have to pay $70 instead of the $60. Almost every AAA game has to have an open world, has to have an RPG system more or less, and, you know, has to have like a character creation or an amazing story, or both if you're, you know, like Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever. But the real thing is, not all of them do that. And yes, I can excuse a game for those, because yes, if you evolve a game to the point where I'm going to say, you know what, take all this money and run with it, but just let me have a lot of fun. And I have a lot of examples like that. Okay, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, I absolutely love those games. Hell, Horizon Forbidden West was another one of those. Like, I loved those games to death. I would have suggested Mortal Kombat 1, however, we kinda know already how that went, and if you don't know, please check out this video. I'm actually talking a lot about them, and it is kinda talking also a little bit of what I'm gonna talk today, but only for that game. However, I want to talk a little bit more, you know, what's going on besides the $70 deal, because, okay, if you would have done just that, I don't think anyone would have been necessarily that mad. Yes, a lot of people probably would have asked why that is going on, however, I don't think a lot of people would have been mad at it. The problem that's actually going on today, however, is not only that, okay? The prices are not just going up, you know, for base games, they're going up for everything else. You're not really getting stuff out of this money. Like, you're paying more, but you're basically getting less, or you're getting a broken project more or less all the time. So again, I said a few examples that, you know, are like really good games. Of course you have Final Fantasy VII the remake, Resident Evil 2 the remake, and so on and so forth. However, I can give you a lot of examples of really bad games that stink a lot, and I would strongly suggest they don't deserve $70, whatever they ask for. Suicide Squad is the most recent one, and it's the one that I'm having in my head at this point in time, and you have to admit that it's really bad. Another one that I would strongly suggest it's extremely bad is Anthem. Yes, Anthem was before $70 deal stuff, but you have to admit it was a really bad game that you had to pay, you know, the full price for. Skull and Bones, another one, asking you full price, being a super shitty game. You can not do that. It's literally not okay to do all that, and however companies do it, and seems to kind of get away with it from time to time. Yes, there are some blowbacks from time to time. For example, Battlefront 2 had that.
What happened to your good costume?
Oh, well, Joe, see, I'm not gonna get burned this year, all right? EA was fucking around last year, spent $120 on the most expensive edition, so I had to make some cutbacks.
I could clearly see that.
I just went with the standard edition. What the fuck is this, Joe? Heroes,
Listen,
Joe!
I know you're gonna be mad, but I got the pre-order. But check out all the cool shit I got, man. Look at this.
You bought the fucking
Whoa.
digital deluxe edition, Joe? You
Yeah.
piece of shit! What the fuck? I thought they said it wasn't pay to win. What do I get?
It's clearly not pay to win.
Okay, what weapon do I get started off with?
Oh, you got the standard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me put this stuff down.
Shit. Okay.
This is yours, I believe.
What the
Because, you know, the content was not up to the price, and especially because of the microtransactions, which I'm gonna talk about in just a few seconds. And also, you know, like Suicide Squad with all the problems that they have, the loading screens, the bugs. I would say Starfield is also kind of in the same park with them, because Starfield, don't get me wrong, it's an okay game, but that's the problem. It suggested it will do so much more than that, and it's asking for $70, even though I don't really think they do anything for all that money. But you know what I'm trying to say is you basically pay more money now, but you kind of get less, and it's really dumb. So games usually should actually evolve. I'm okay with that. And I also think it's really important, and I advise everyone to do that. You have to ask more from your favorite companies, okay? If they made a good game this year, the next time they will put, a new game, they have more experience, probably more money, so you should be able to put out a much better game out there. And there are countless examples of that sort, but there are also a lot of other examples, and to be honest, way more of those lately that are worse and becoming worse. And really, I narrowed it down to really two things. First things first is the greediness of the companies. So now I'm gonna talk also about microtransactions, because a lot of the games actually want the $70. However, they will actually get to give you a product where they're basically just asking you for more money anyway. So also some examples are, for example, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, if you do remember that one, which again was a full paid game, but they still ask you for microtransactions, which by the way they call them time savers, because companies apparently think, you know what, if you buy a video game, what exactly do you want to do? Skip playing the video game. That's what you want to do with your game, don't you?
Hey gamers, Billy Mays here, and have I got the thing for you. Are you an idiot who buys AAA games? Are you tired of immersive worlds taking up all of your time? Is this complicated keyboard and mouse too much for you to figure out? Is this old controller with its buttons and triggers too much for your little digits? Well then boy do I have the thing for you. Time savers. Now time savers is when you give us money to not play the game you already paid for, because I put roadblocks in the game that you want to get over.
Why would you buy something to skip something that you bought? It just doesn't compute. Doesn't make any sense. You got EAFC, for example, Madden, NBA, all these games. They basically put out the same game every year, ask you $70, and then they will give you the Ultimate Team mode, where you gotta have to buy packs of loot just to get stuff out. And yes, sometimes these games can be fun. I'm not gonna say that some games like these don't exist, okay? We have examples such as Overwatch, which, became a super popular game and it was really good. Destiny 2 kinda did it well, but really, I would say those are part of the problem, rather a solution, because of them and because of their looting system, they actually just made everything worse because all the games wanted that greediness. And a lot of games and game developers with, big budget, pockets and stuff, they will actually want live service games because they think that live service makes more money for them. However, it's kind of been stated time and time again that it's actually a loss every single time they try to make it because it's obvious that they cannot do it. And they will never actually support a game for too much because the game will always fail. It's just history repeating itself over and over again. Honestly, besides Destiny 2, I cannot really think of a live service game that really made a incredible impact in the market in a good way. And besides the microtransactions themselves, of course they have another way to ask you for more money, which is Premium Edition and Ultimate Bundle Edition, Collector's Edition, Strong Edition, Zeus Edition, whatever edition, God Edition, I don't know, they just call them whatever. And they used to mean something. So here's the deal. I kinda get you asking for more money, okay? Even though I think it's kind of outrageous. So if you've seen Ubisoft and EA lately with what the pricing for their games are, for the Premium Edition and like the Ultimate Edition or whatever you're calling it, it's either $100 for the Premium Edition, which by the way used to actually bring you some goodies. Now they actually don't give you almost nothing that great. They kind of give you some skins from time to time, maybe, and coins in their game that you paid for. Because guess what? In their game, you have other microtransactions that will use a certain coin or whatever that you have to pay with your money for. And so if you buy the premium edition, you will get like 10,000 coins, and you can buy whichever character you want, because why give you something to actually have fun when we can actually just fuck you over for more money? I think that's just absolutely ridiculous and absolutely outrageous, and people really should stand a little bit up for that, because literally the companies have become greedier and greedier every single year, to the point where they're asking for 120 or 150 bucks for a fucking video game. In retrospective, consoles used to be 300 bucks. Like, are you kidding me? You're almost asking the price of a console for one game that most probably you'll charge again next year, and even more you will ask, for microtransactions and all that in the game itself. And not to mention that some companies, EA by the way, want ads in their video games after paying almost maybe 100 bucks, actually, not almost. Maybe you do pay all that and you will still probably get ads. What the hell? How is that even possible? How is that even a fucking thought in their heads? Well, I'm telling you how. Because here is the second thing I wanted to talk about. What happens with the money? Maybe you give more money to the developer, and then the projects, the next projects are gonna be so much bigger, so much brighter, so much better. Because the developers are paid better, the game has more time and has more people to work on, and so on and so forth. And they will also pay for an engine that's better, that's stronger, that will do all the things that needs to be done. Right? No, not if you're a company like EA or like Ubisoft, or really I guess any company nowadays. Maybe with, again, few exceptions. Maybe Naughty Dog, maybe Santa Monica, all these, I would say they have, still got it. Insomniac is one of them as well. I would say even Bethesda to some point. I have to admit that I think Bethesda still does a pretty good job. So the money doesn't go into the technology necessarily. So the developers are paid better, right? Well, no, absolutely not. The developers have the same probably bad salaries from like ever, or even less. Because guess what? With the, competition that AI is actually, part of right now, the developers are actually having an even harder time even keeping their job. It's not a matter of how well they're paid. It's a matter of, can they actually have a job? Because a lot of them have been fired lately. As I did actually mention in the last week's video, a lot of companies made huge sacks, in the last few months. Like a lot of them like sacked 900 people or 400 people and so on and so forth. Articles about companies firing developers are everywhere. A studio in my country is closed. From like a week ago, they had to close and to go into bankruptcy, because that was it. They cannot afford to be paid anymore, because it is what it is. And why is that? Well, because AI is a tool that you kind of have to pay for once, and they will never have to pay for it again, or it pays for a subscription and you can do more with it. Which means that in the eyes of a corporation, of course, you cut big corners. The big corner being the human. The human being, in their view, is a detriment to their product, because a human means costing you money. Get the human out of the way and get the AI in, and that means you have to spend less money and probably get a product out. Keep enough people to create your video game. So crunch time is still gonna exist, because less people will have to work on probably bigger projects using AI, which, yes, again, I said it multiple times, AI can totally and should be used as a tool in some sort of way, but not like do everything. That's dumb. Please don't do that. Please stay away from it. Apparently big corporations cannot understand that, and they still will, sack people in the, favor of AI or whatever. So people are not getting bigger salaries or salaries at all lately. So the question still remains, what exactly does happen with the money then? Well, look at the CEOs. Yeah, you don't have to look farther than that, okay? The CEOs have, and the managers and like the big guys up there have increased salaries, have bonuses every single year, and they pat themselves on the back, be like, yes, we're so good, we did so good, because again, the way corporations work, investors will look at it, will look at a company and be like, oh, your company made a lot of money lately. And they're like, yeah, so I think I deserve a bonus, don't I? And they give him the bonus. He actually fired a bunch of people. And because of, those salaries being gone, of course the company has more money now. And yeah, that's a very shady view and a very unfortunate thing. However, it is a thing that happens. So maybe this doesn't answer your question on why exactly video games are, actually more overpriced now. And to be exactly honest with you, I cannot give you a straight answer to why that happens, because again, it's a very complicated subject. They took advantage of the new consoles and stuff to just have an excuse to do it, and now apparently they keep trying to test the waters and see if people are actually going to react back to their games when they ask for like some absolutely crazy amounts of money on top of microtransactions and all that. So again, please, if you actually want to help your gaming experience and everyone else's gaming experiences, please stop buying microtransactions, please stop supporting these big companies and show them that that's not right, that's just wrong. And even more than that, support indie developers. So each and every year, companies have too many people, they will fire them and then rehire other people with one purpose: less money have to be spent. So basically the guys with experience will have to be fired because they have bigger salaries than they should have in, again, the company's view. And then they will hire someone with less experience that probably will make less quality game, and he will, ask for less money. That's kind of the way these kind of go, and that's why maybe your favorite studios, such as, I don't know, Bethesda maybe? Or I don't know, there was this game that made Knights of the Old Republic that actually is right now a really, really bad company. And that company's name, as you probably already know, it's BioWare. And yes, BioWare is one of the most legendary gaming companies in the world, in history really, because it put out games as Knights of the Old Republic, it put the games like Mass Effect. The guys are absolutely incredible, and however, they actually are the ones that gave us Anthem, that keep bringing really bad games lately, and they just don't seem to actually be able to make games anymore. And the reason for it is because the people that created the legendary games are out. They're not there anymore, and a lot of them actually did talk about it. They opened, other studios, indie studios, to work on what they actually want, because the companies didn't want to pay them anymore, and because the CEOs actually have to have holidays and also have like $3 other million in their pockets every single night, because why not? I'm so tired of this. And really the reason I'm talking about all this, it's actually started from a good news, which is the Witcher news. And the reason for it is because Witcher 3, the Red Kit tool, it's free. So if you have the base game, you can download that for free on Steam or Epic or GOG.com. Now I cannot talk for GOG.com because I didn't look up there, but I will presume it's still free, but Epic and Steam give it for free if you have the base game, however, which, it makes sense. But why would the good news actually bring me to bad news? Well, because having seen that companies actually can do good, that made me reflect a lot more on the companies that don't do that. And I was really looking at it like, why is that actually happening? It doesn't make sense. Like, people can actually do such a good work, and yet companies like EA, like everyone else, like Ubisoft and all these, they keep on making really shitty decisions that I just cannot understand. Yes, you can also come with the excuse of maybe, not maybe, but they actually put out lately a lot of free games that are really good. And, XDefiant is one, Warzone is one, and so on and so forth. They made Destiny 2 free to play and all that. But the problem with that is, yes, they make those free to play because they will put microtransactions in, or season passes, that actually will make them more money than the fucking video games will themselves, but the quality will always stay the same. They will never upgrade it because they don't care about it. And yes, some successful stories can actually come out of there. I'm not gonna say no, and I'm not gonna say those games are not fun. However, you have to admit that that is a very, very bad way of thinking, because in that manner you will have to basically sack or put aside all those single player games, which is happening. It's exactly what Warner Brothers are doing, for example, concentrating way more on live service and online gaming rather than single player experiences. Even though their single player game from last year, which is Hogwarts Legacy, made the best selling game of the year, and they apparently still don't take that into consideration. It's just crazy how they can actually be so blind and not think about anything else rather than numbers, because that is all they can actually see, it's numbers, okay? And with that actually being said, we can go into the last part of this video, which is an Indie Studio shoutout that we do every single week. So for today's Indie Studio channel that we're actually going to support on this channel, and I really hope you'll go and check out their games, is called Square Glade Games. And I'm actually going to pull out their game right here. Square Glade Games is actually a pretty small studio. It's only 2 people that are working on these really cozy games. Outbound, for example, it's a game that is not out just yet. It's gonna probably be out this year, and it's a very cozy kind of game. The idea of the game is actually pretty simple. I'm actually gonna let this play out. I will have to, kind of get the music out because I don't know if they're copywriting it or not. However, the whole point of the game is you'll have this van, and you can just move around with the van, build whatever you want on the van, and make it look however you want. This is not, kind of an action-oriented or whatever kind of game. It's just, this kind of cozy kind of game, like when you want to go late at night, just open a video game and be like, I'm gonna play for like a few minutes and then go to sleep. This is the video game for you. And you just wanna relax in the morning, drinking your coffee or whatever. This is again the game for you. It's super cozy, it's super nice. And also they have another game out actually, which is called Above Snakes. Again, Above Snakes is a little more of a isometric type of view game. But it's kind of the same concept, pretty cozy, it's a pretty good game, it's only 25 euros, but it's really, really good if you ask me. It looks really nice. Now, of course, I cannot totally say so, you can take that with a grain of salt, because I did not play this game for sure, but for all those guys that, love these cozy little games, that's actually a pretty good guess for you. And it has, largely positive reviews. They have some negative reviews, so I would actually read those before you buy it. But yes, definitely at least check out their game and totally trust that an indie studio by 2 guys that probably have a lot of respect for their game and a lot of love for it will make a much better job than, a AAA video game company that mostly wants all your money and nothing else in return. That's kind of it. So, with actually this being said, and actually hopefully you having a little more hope for the future, I really hope that, the gaming world will become better. I just wanna end this video by telling you one more time and thank you so much for all your support on this channel. And if you're still watching at this point in time, thank you even more. With that being said, I hope you'll have an absolutely amazing weekend. Check out tomorrow for my next gameplay for What Have You Done Father. And I really hope that I'll see you in the next videos. Bye guys!